Hey, Kacey.
Yes.
I have a confession to make.
What is it?
I was heavily medicated the last few shows.
I thought something was amiss.
I was. It's true. It's the Infinite Loop Show.
Yay!
Hello, welcome to the Infinite Loop Show, episode number 47. I am Mike. I have never doped up during a show, Gaines.
And I am Kacey. I didn't call you fat. Cognitive.
So, we're prepping for the show, and all these tweets are coming by about this Lance Armstrong thing, which is happening right now as we speak.
Apparently.
And
Very timely.
it's crazy. I haven't even watched it yet because we're doing the show.
Oh,
So
because
I'll
you
watch it
are
later.
always up on the Oprah news.
Well, I really didn't think it was going to be any big deal. It was going to be, Oprah pulls an apology out of Lance Armstrong, and there's some crying or something like that. But instead, it turns out that he's a lying SOB, and everybody hates him.
Maybe he is just roiding right now, and he has some rage. And mid-interview, he's going to rage quit and just leave.
Rachel, I don't know, but he just said something to Oprah, what you just said to me. I never called you fat. That's what he just said to Oprah, and I just went, whoa, okay.
Tell it like it is.
Tell it
It's
like
the
it
new
is.
Lance. Balls to the wall. What? Oh, ball, singular, to the wall.
But this is a Mac show. We're here to talk about Macs and iOS and Apple and all these lovely things that we love so dearly. So let's get to the news. I promised to make a new little thing there, a new little bumper, because that's kind of lame. You like it?
I kind of like it. Like if there was, I don't like a little video snippet, like
You know,
how they sometimes do in movies where it's like old timey newspapers and they're flying by like off the shelf.
it just happens to be that I put down the $30 a month to get all of Adobe's apps.
All of them.
All of them.
Apps.
Launch all the apps. Yes, I finally did it. I plopped down the it's $30 a month for me because I own Photoshop CS3 or 4.
Oh wow,
4,
they took
4.
it. Oh okay. 4.
So yeah, it was CS3 and higher, I believe, but you needed to have a registered Adobe product from a certain point forward.
Yeah. Well,
And
they're on 6 now. Usually they don't go back more than 2 versions to let you like qualify from.
Right. So for one app, it was $20 a month, and for all the apps, because I'm a registered user, well, normally it's what, 40, $50 a month or something like that, but I'm able to do it for
They've
30.
never had a monthly thing, so no.
Then they do now.
Yeah, no, now is the first time they started doing the monthly thing. I think
yeah.
last year they might have done it for Photoshop only. But this is really the first time they've done a monthly subscription for the Creative Suite. It's always been like, you pay $1,200 or you don't get it.
And now I'm paying half that, and I get all the apps. Now, see, what I like about this whole thing, and this is sort of Mac related, so that's where we're going to talk about it, is because I don't use all the apps all the time. I may need to use Illustrator for half an afternoon one day or something, or maybe I might need to use Muse or whatever. As a matter of fact, I may even look into using Adobe Audition for podcasting just to see if it's good.
Yeah.
But it's just nice because now I can use Photoshop CS6. I've been using After Effects. I started working on a new logo, an animated logo for the intro for the show, and that's where this whole news thing comes from. Is that I'll work on a news one also, so we can do all these wonderful, amazing things.
Indeed. Exciting things about.
So if you're a Mac user or a Windows user, and you want to use the Creative Suite, there's a monthly fee now instead of paying for everything at once.
Right, exactly. Normally I would just say, hey, go take a class at the local community college and, buy the student version, which is usually like about half as much so like $600 or around
Yeah.
there.
For everything. So this is nice.
But yeah, it's much nicer.
All right, you have the first news item today, this Disney Infinity.
So yeah, Disney is coming out with a new video game called Infinity, which is going to star all of the Disney characters that they have under the roof, which at this time, well, I guess now it would incorporate all of the Marvel and Star Wars characters, sadly, but right now they're just kind of headlining mainly the Pixar movie characters. And this was in an article I saw on Cult of Mac entitled accurately enough, Steve Jobs would have loved this except for one tiny detail. Disney's releasing this awesome game for everything, Windows, consoles, but no Mac version.
Oh, not yet. I'm sure there will be.
Yeah, something that is featuring and really playing off Pixar as heavily as this is, and since there really wouldn't be any Pixar without Steve, that kind of is like, wow, what a kick in the balls to Apple,
Yeah, I guess without Steve, there's just not as much pressure anymore to support Apple. So it's unfortunate. It'll come out. They said that something will come out at some point. But
yeah, especially since it seems like more and more just gaming houses and games in general are coming out for the Mac closer to the regular release date, if not at the same time as the Windows version. Yeah. Whereas years ago that was pretty unheard of.
Yeah. So I don't, I watched the video, and I'm not exactly sure what this thing is.
I kind of feel like it's like a Super Smash Brothers, but with Disney characters.
Oh, is it? Oh, because I didn't. Well, yeah, I guess so. Yeah,
or at least that's what I was thinking.
The video that they showed just showed everybody running around in different settings for different characters. I just went, okay, well that's nice. What are they doing?
Oh, I just took it as like I said, Super Smash Brothers, and also, I mean, because PlayStation 2 is doing that with the PlayStation All-Stars. Everybody's kind of banking on that theme that Nintendo made so well.
Yeah, with Smash Brothers. So we'll keep an eye on that, see how things go. There are 2 new shots of Ashton Kutcher as Steve Jobs, and I mean, it's nice. It's a picture of him and Woz in the garage, and then there's another picture of him and Woz at I guess one of those computer shows that they used to do. And this guy looks more like Jack Black than he does like Steve Wozniak. It's just not right.
He looks like some kind of, I don't even know, like a greasy hippie or something. He just looks really greasy. And then like the initial shots they released for this Jobs motion picture, which everyone is dumping on because it stars Ashton Kutcher. But then they released that initial teaser shot that was the recreation of Steve Jobs laying on the desk.
Yeah.
And Ashton looked just like him. And so I'm like, done. I'm on board. This is going to be a great film. And then they released these 2 shots with a greasy-ass Woz and Ashton just looking like Kelso and not Steve Jobs. And I'm like, I don't want to see this anymore. This looks like poo.
Yeah, it doesn't look very appealing at all. But we'll have to see what critics have to say.
I hope they pull it out, and I hope, it's a good film, but
I want to know what? You're laughing.
I'm just afraid for it, that's all.
I just want to know if they're going to focus more. I think they're focusing more on the early days of Apple, right? Not so much the later stuff.
Yeah, so they have to compete now with Pirates of Silicon Valley.
Oh, right, which I haven't watched yet since forever ago. You told me that it was on Netflix.
Once, yeah. Wow. You know what it's about, and you know how it plays out.
I was there at Macworld Boston.
And also, you lived through it.
Yeah. You're starting with me again, aren't you?
No, I didn't say anything.
Facebook is rolling out free calling through its Messenger app for iOS, which is very nice.
Yeah, so now I can call people on my phone.
I know.
Finally.
For free.
Well, if you're on Wi-Fi, it's free. If you're not, then it's using your data plan, which is really, really not free.
If you have an unlimited plan, then it's sort of free. You're not really gaining anything.
If you're grandfathered into the unlimited, yes. Otherwise, minutes are always going to be better than data.
But AT&T decided that what they're going to do is they're going to allow FaceTime to be used by people that have the tiered cellular plans.
Finally.
And everybody rejoiced. Yes.
And everybody started using FaceTime.
Except for the people that have the unlimited grandfathered plan. Those people are not allowed to use FaceTime over cellular.
Because we don't like those people, and we want them to get off of their grandfather data plans.
I'm sorry, but that's AT&T kicking people in the ass.
Well, it's them trying to turn a profit, and like any other company that puts out a promotion, then they rapidly try to kick people off that promotion.
Well, they're making money off of us anyway. I mean,
I'm just saying I'm not surprised. It figures,
Yeah. I would bet you that if AT&T ran the numbers, that they're not losing anything. It's just now they're trying to stick it to the grandfathered people and say, well, we're just going to take your FaceTime away. And I just go,
yeah, that's true.
Take it. You can have it.
Yeah, right. I have Skype or a million.
I know. I have Skype.
That do the same thing.
I have Skype, so screw you.
I didn't need to make a phone call anyways. I have Facebook now.
You and I have known each other for a year. How many times have we talked on the phone? 4?
The only time, we talk on the phone is when your internet goes out and you call me in a panic and you're like, Kacey? And I'm like, what are you doing calling me?
This is ancient technology.
This archaic means of communication.
It's the only way that I can contact you unless I turn my Wi-Fi off.
Right, and my beeper is dead in the drawer, so that's out. I don't have a fax machine. So
you're a drug dealer, aren't you? You're a drug dealer. No, really, it's true. The only time I ever call Kacey is when my internet goes out because we always talk over like Google Plus or something like that, and it's just easier to call than it is for me to turn off the Wi-Fi because that's how I know that the Wi-Fi went or the internet went back on. Is to keep it on. So
keep all of the internets on.
Apple stock dipped below 500 because people are in a panic.
The world is ending.
Yes, I know. Well, I have to say they went up to 710 and now they're below 500. That is quite significant. But is anybody really surprised over this?
I am, and I'm not. It's surprising, but at the same time, there are things that you can point to that would be the cause for this.
Yeah.
It makes me sad because now because I'm, at work, I'm the Apple person. Right. So anytime there's big Apple news, people feel the need to come by my desk and talk to me about it. When this happened, I got 2 people that came by, and they're just like, it's the 90s all over again. Apple's going down. And I'm like,
I don't know about that. We all knew that Apple was not going to sustain that 700 plus stock price forever.
Well, I think, okay, so I think a lot of people were like, maybe 60-70% felt, okay, this can't go on forever. But then a little part of you is like, they could go even higher.
Yeah, well, it can, but I had a feeling, what brought it down, well, there are a bunch of factors that brought it down.
Yeah.
But all right, let's start with this, is that the reason why it dropped is because there was a report that there was a weak demand for the iPhone 5. And the thing is that there are some people saying that the reason why the demand is so low, well, first off, it's post-Christmas. Second, there are rumors going around of a new phone coming out.
Already.
And already, So maybe this is just everything normalizing out. As far as I'm concerned, am I in a panic over this? No.
No.
However, I have said on the show before, and I've said this on the internet, is that Apple seems to have pushed a lot of really good products out in 2012. 2013, we were talking about this pre-show, is that you said that 2013 is going to be more about software than hardware, and I agree with you. Except I think that what pulled Apple up in the first place was their innovation in what people are taking for granted today. And so think about it. I mean, they pulled up because of the iPhone, pulled up because of the iPad, pulled up for a whole bunch of products.
Yeah, but a lot of things that I think that are probably hitting them negatively right now are things that we've taken for granted in the last 5 years, or how since 2007 when the iPhone first came out. With iOS 6 being pretty buggy and Maps being pretty buggy and a lot of these things that just dropped and just worked, they dropped a lot of hardware, maybe too much hardware in 2012.
Maybe.
But there was also, a big push on, their two major operating systems, iOS 6 and Mac OS. And a lot of people are saying those are the two buggiest operating system pushes that they've put out to date.
Sure. So here's what I think is what I think needs to happen now is, well, wait, let me take a step back. What I mean by people are taking advantage, I've always said about technology, as I watch technology progress over the last 20 years or so, is that some company, I didn't know that it was going to be Apple at the time, but some company needs to come along and show people that stuff can just work.
Yeah.
And Apple did that. And so now Google and now Ubuntu and Windows or Microsoft with Windows Phone 8 are showing, oh yeah, I guess we can. And they're basically doing what Apple has done. Now Apple needs to be the front runner in some other way. I don't know what that way is, but they need to show that we need something else. So they've shown that, yes, you can have interoperability both in software and hardware. Now they need to do something else. And as always, they need to show us about something. They need to show us, excuse me, an item that we didn't know we needed until Apple showed it.
Well, yeah, every time they revolutionize another market, that's pretty much what they do. They reinvent themselves, and that's kind of what people were saying late last year, that where's the next big thing, Apple, and you need another revolution, even though it's only been 3 years. And yeah, it's true, but I mean, how often do they come out with those revolutions? They're not revolutions because they come out on a yearly basis. They're revolutions because they truly are revolutionary, and they redefine and remake a market, and they come out like maybe once, maybe twice a decade.
Right. And so you're absolutely right. The iPhone came out in 2007. It is now 6 years later. So something new, and not necessarily in the phone world and telecommunications world, but something. They need to have something.
TV, people have been saying, wearable computing maybe, or something we're not even thinking about yet.
It could even be the TV, because if you take a look at the history of smartphones, if you want to call them that, pre-2007, because I owned a Nokia N95, so smartphone, excuse me, I also owned an iPad, a compact iPad. So I knew how clunky those devices were years ago. They could do something with the television that we're not even aware of. They could do something with the television and say, you know what, you thought that you can improve on the television? There it is. You were wrong. And totally
You're
revolutionize. Welcome. Yeah, exactly. Tim Cook gets on stage. You're welcome. And then that should be the whole thing.
Boom.
Boom, you're welcome. So who knows? But my whole point to this whole thing is that, yes, Apple, and I'm sure they all know about this. They have to know this. Is that a revolution only lasts as long as somebody starts to copy them, and then everybody does it, and then it's not so much of a revolution anymore. So Yeah. I'm actually, in a sort of slight tangent, I'm interested to see what happens with this Ubuntu phone.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because I want to see if Ubuntu does what Google promised and never delivered on.
I don't know.
I want to see if...
Because I have a feeling like they're probably not going to tap into the Google Play Store. So then that's yet another app store. That's yet another fork, you know? And how popular
Yes.
is that going to be coming in this late in the game? Like Windows Phone is having that very problem. And
Windows Phone, I've been hearing nothing but good things about it.
it's good. I mean,
it's different. It's a different paradigm for a telecommunications
that's what I
device.
like about it the most is that it's not a total derivative of iOS like another OS is. But yeah, I mean, their biggest problem is trying to emulate that entire ecosystem that Apple has perfected. And they're the second closest to it. You know, we've talked about this where Google
Yeah.
just cannot get that ecosystem together because they don't have the desktop OS. Microsoft does, but then they don't have the App Store. And it's a little kind of kludgy to get your stuff onto the TV. You know, they don't really, I mean, they have a set-top box kind of in the
with the
Xbox, but
yeah.
that's kind of a kludge there. And so, but I mean, they're still closer than Android is.
All personal
space.
bias aside, there are some smart people at Microsoft, and I'm sure they're working on this. And I would really like to see real competition with Microsoft again, because I really think that Google is cocky. And
Yeah.
no, really, there was an article today.
I agree.
Yeah, I really think they said today
They
that
used to be. They were, you know, the little kind of, you know, smart kid in the back of the class, kind of upstart. But now I think they're getting really cocky and kind of. I agree. Yeah.
And so, as much as I love Google and what they're doing, I think that they're losing focus on what needs to be done. And so, I mean, for God's sakes, for Ubuntu to get into this market, somebody's got to be aware at Google that this could be a serious problem, because what Google doesn't have, you just said this, Google doesn't have the desktop operating system. Yeah, you can get a Chromebook, but that's not the real thing.
No, that's not a desktop
So,
at all. Ubuntu has a desktop, but then they don't have the TV part either. So, I mean, I guess you could make another home theater PC running Linux, but then that's just two desktops essentially, you know.
I think what's going to make Ubuntu survive, and this is what I meant about Google, is that if they can create an ecosystem, desktop, mobile, excuse me, interoperability with apps, and have some sort of ecosystem on top of that. And this is big for me, because this is one of the things about Android that really just pisses me off. Don't let the carriers bully Ubuntu into screwing with the operating system. I hate that about Android.
But like, nobody else has been able to do what Apple's done in that space, in you know, grabbing the carriers by the neck and saying, you're going to do what we say.
Yep.
Everyone else, without fail, with every carrier, I mean, has, you know, succumbed and had to do the bidding of the carrier first and foremost.
Sure.
Like, no one else has been able to follow in Apple's footsteps. Not even Microsoft, not anybody.
No, as a matter of fact, Nokia said...
I don't see where Ubuntu is going to come with the clout to be able to do what Apple did as far as the carrier's demands go.
Right. Nokia said that, I forgot what model number, but there was a model number that was supposed to be running, that currently, at the time, ran Windows Phone 7, and then they said it's going to run Windows Phone 8, and I said, well, no, we were wrong. That's the kind of crap that I hate. That's the kind of stuff that, and people say, "Oh, you're an Apple fanboy." No, the reason why I love the iPhone is because of the fact that I spent so many years between Symbian and all these other operating systems where updates didn't come to the United States immediately, like they should have, because AT&T or whoever has to screw with the OS before we got it. Now I don't deal with that. And it just cracks me up when I see people say, I've got this great phone and I have to wait 6 months, but that's okay. No, it's not okay. You spend $400 for a damn phone. You should you should have the right to complain about the fact that you don't have something on day and date.
Yeah,
so
I know.
That's just that's my thing. I'm ranting over.
So speaking of Google,
the Nexus 7 outsold Apple's iPad over the holidays. There are reasons for this. You can argue that Google better. The Google Nexus 7 is it's $199.
It's really not bad.
Yeah.
I mean, for a tablet and for an Android tablet, for a competitor to the iPad, I would say it stands up. It's really not a bad tablet. And if you hate iOS, if you can't afford an iPad, I always steer people towards the Nexus 7, really.
It is $140 cheaper than an iPad.
And there you go. Like, if those are your reasons, then you should get this one. Don't look at any other Android tablet. Like, people, I know a few people who said, I'm not getting an iPad specifically on price, so I'm going to go down to Best Buy and I'm going to get this $99 Android tablet it's running Android. They're all running Android. It's all the same, right?
Yeah, no.
And I'm like, no,
they're not.
Spend okay, $199. It's not that much more, and you're getting a much better tablet, and it's going to be the most recent OS. Just do this one.
In the long run, it's going to be better. I think
it's going to be much better.
So we shall see. And that's it for the news. We're talking pre-show that the news has been spotty the last few weeks, and that's because Macworld is next week. You're so excited. Do you expect anything to come out of this?
Probably like a lot of apps and a lot of peripherals. We're not going to, even though Apple has almost always kind of overshadowed it with their own, random announcements, just happened to break the week of. I don't think Apple's got anything to announce right now. So I think it's going to probably be what's at Macworld. And at this point, that's a lot of apps and a lot of third-party accessories and peripherals for Macs.
Do we even know? I just realized this. I haven't heard a thing about who's going to be doing the keynote at Macworld this year. Have you heard anything?
I have no idea.
Because usually we hear about it by now. I'm on the Mac Macworld iWorld.com website, and there is absolutely
maybe
nothing.
I mean, they're doing a big keynote, right?
Yeah, but we don't know who it is. Interesting.
Surprise!
All right, let's move on to rapid fire. Yeah, I got to make another one of those too. There was some Newsstand news today, and one of the biggest things. Rolling Stone is now available for Apple's iPad Newsstand, which is cool. I do subscribe to that digitally through Zinio.
I have the paper subscription, which is way archaic, but I don't even know how we got it. It just started showing up one day.
Wait a minute. You're doing something more archaic than me? Hold on a second.
Well, I'm not putting these magazines on a belt clip.
Oh, man. Again with the belt clip. What's you have this next one, the iPhone 5S rumor?
This has been kicked around for a few months already, but I thought I'd put it in there because there's a little bit more development in this space. With the whole, Mr. Cook goes to China news the last couple of weeks, there's been a heavier drumming of the iPhone 5S rumors that it's being slated for May, June this year.
Okay. And
since the iPhone 5 was, even though it sold more than any other iPhone to date, was seen as doing poorly, there's a lot of rumors that Apple is pushing up the dates from, October, November that it's been in the last couple of years to releasing the new iPhone back in, summertime in June to kind of make up for that gap.
Yeah, could be during the developers conference.
WWDC in June.
That's right. We don't have any dates for that yet, I don't think.
No, they don't usually release it out this early.
No. And what's with Apple's 2013 roadmap?
So that ties in nicely with this proposed, and I don't even know if this is a rumor or this is coming directly from One Infinite Loop, but this proposed Apple's roadmap for 2013, where was this? Oh, Mac Rumors.
Mac Rumors.
Came, it lays out everything that they're proposed to launch in the next coming year, which looks almost identical to 2012 in terms of new hardware and OSs.
Yeah.
Which, A, sounds like, yay, Christmas all over again. But B, like, how can they do that 2 years in a row? Either they're going to be shitty updates that everyone's going to complain is, evolutionary and not revolutionary. Or it's just unnecessary. They dropped like we said before, they dropped a ton of hardware in 2012. I don't see how they can do that all over again this year.
One thing that's missing from this is what? A Mac Pro.
That is the one piece of hardware that they can drop anytime. Anytime.
And I will be so happy. No,
Yeah.
I have to get some use out of this new iMac before I can get a Mac Pro. But yeah, I'm hoping for one of those soon. Of some of the things they have, a lot of these items are pushed to the third quarter specifically. I would think for the holidays. So they have an iPhone 5S, a new design for the 5, an iPad 5, iPad Mini 2. But
Yeah, a lot of redesigns for current ones, which again they've never done before.
so I'm not.
They released the new one. They don't touch the old one. What? I don't even understand what that's about.
Yeah, I don't either. Sometimes these analysts just get it all wrong.
Pull stuff out.
All right, our apps for this episode. All right, excuse me. Oh, this
could die first.
This cough is going away, by the way, because I did most of this show without coughing up a lung. I have another Word app, and this is a little different. This is called Wordament, and it's based on Xbox Live as far as the network that it uses for the challenges. Instead of challenging a person one-to-one, like letterpress or words with friends or something, what you do is you're given a grid of letters, and you have to make as many words as you can. But you have to do it in 90 seconds, and then there's 30 seconds of leaderboards, showing you where you ranked, and then it's off to the races to the next game. It's a lot of fun, and I'm almost addicted to this.
Almost?
Almost. So that's mine for this show. What's yours?
So mine is one that I think I tweeted and put on Google Plus, but I never talked about it on the show. And now I'm using it every day, and it's the best ever. It's called TotalTerminal. It's a plugin for your Mac OS terminal that allows it to drop down from the top of your screen, kind of like an old Quake visor. It makes the window or you can actually choose, but I've got it at 80% opacity.
Oh, nice.
In black and with a green font. And so it just drops down, and what is it? Control tilde, and I just hit my key, and it just drops down, and it, drops to about 50% screen there from the top. And, I do my terminal commands, SSH, whatever I need to do. And then it goes back up, and it's just so clean and sweet looking, and is really quite impressive if anybody just comes over to look at your screen and you just hit that hotkey and it just drops down, and it totally blows everybody's minds.
So it uses the tilde key just like in Quake.
Yeah, it's control tilde,
but,
and then it drops down, and it's
nice.
Fantastic. It's free if you just Google TotalTerminal. Install. Just all you have to do is install. You don't have to do anything to get the plugin working, and it just automatically adapts and pulls it in.
There is one more thing that I want to mention before we go, and I might as well do this now. So I have this weird thing about Apple keyboards. There are certain keyboards that I like. So I decided what I was going to do is do something similar to what Kacey does. She creates these shadow boxes for some Apple products. What I was going to do is there are 3 keyboards that I like the most: the Pismo copper one, the PowerBook G4 titanium black one, the translucent black one, and the iBook one. So today I received my copper
keyboard.
Pismo. Yes, my copper Pismo one. So I'm gonna
Nerd.
Yes. Where are your shadow boxes, by the way?
They're in storage right now.
All right. So yeah, nerd.
I know.
So I'm gonna
Hey,
have
if you
them
want a shadow box
over there. All right. Is that it? Are we done?
It looks that way. We're really just news light this week, but I'm sure that will not be the problem the next 2 weeks.
No, it won't be. All right. If you want to contact us, I am at StarMike on Twitter. Kacey is Kacey Queso. The Kacey, not the cheese. KACEYKASO. The Infinite Loop Show Infinite Loop Show at gmail.com. And of course, Infinite Loop TV on Twitter. All right, that's it. Thanks for watching and listening. We'll talk to you later.
Bye.